Hey Scorpio, welcome back to Intuitive Dreams 1111. I hope you are doing well. Apologies for the delay in getting out the readings for the full moon in Sagittarius, as I was telling the other signs that I have done readings for. It's been a rough few weeks for me with sinuses. This is the worst it's ever been. My equilibrium is completely way off. I had to take a lot of medication. And so my doctor even gave me a note to take a couple of days off from the day job while I'm on some medication because of the equilibrium issue that I'm having. So I'm moving really slow, but I do want to try and get out some of these messages for the full moon in Sagittarius. So they're not going to be really long and in depth. They're pretty quick and sweet, but it's, I think, enough information for you to take what you need out of this reading for yourself, okay? So the full moon in Sagittarius is May 23rd. So this is also known as the flower moon, which symbolizes growth, discovery, and pursuit of truth. So for your reading, the two tokens that came out was the beach scene, the umbrella, the beach, like, being on the sand. So it represents, vacation. It can be literally going to the beach where there's, or anywhere where there's sand and water. But that landed on physical well-being. And the other token that came out was the apple. And that landed right in between finance and hidden. So it looks like we have a little bit of a case of talking to a Scorpio, or, again, any placements, take it as it resonates. We, almost everybody has Scorpio in their placements, okay? So it doesn't have to be just your sun, your moon, your rising, or your Venus. It can be any placement that you have Scorpio, okay? But I'm talking to somebody that is has strong Scorpio, which I'm very familiar with. I have a couple of placements of Scorpio myself. We have a tendency to obsess over things. And I feel like I'm talking to a Scorpio that might be obsessing over their finances and, the fact that they can't quite see where their finances in a particular situation, where they're going to be. And so I'm talking to somebody that is seeing that their finances are not growing, or it doesn't look like it's growing the way that they want, or they're waiting for, some substantial, payout from some sort of financial endeavor, okay? I feel like I'm talking to somebody who is literally like checking their 401k every day, or they're checking their email, with the journal here. They're checking their email every day, waiting to hear when they're going to get paid for something that they've done, or when they're going to receive, a payout regarding somebody who's doing some sort of work for them or something to those, lines. But, with the interlude here, okay, the interlude is because, the apple represents knowledge. It can be the forbidden fruit, but it can also, mean health. But it can also, mean, fruits of labor, right? When am I going to see the fruits of my labor pay out, right? And then also trash came out. Okay, so this is, disregarding, throwing out, something being trashed. So when I did some clarifications, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who is a King of Wands. So this is somebody that's, probably an entrepreneur or somebody who is very much focused on career and making money. And it's causing right now some anxiety with the moon. And anxiety came out as well with the beach scene. So there's a lot of anxiety over focusing on career, focusing on making the money, focusing on seeing the payout come through. And with the Wheel of Fortune, okay, it's, this is just a cycle, right? So like 401k, right? The 401ks are a lot like a cycle. There are cycles where money goes up. There's cycles where money goes down. And if you're checking your 401k every day, you probably are going to get anxiety because you're not going to see like a $20,000 increase checking every day, right? So if you checked it once a month, you might see that $20,000 dollar increase, over that last month because, that is growth, right? You're going to see that growth because you've checked it a month from the last time you checked it. But if you're checking it every day, you're going to give yourself anxiety, because the Eight of Swords came out, right? So that's negative thinking. You're automatically thinking negative because you're not seeing something grow fast enough, right? It's no different than if you want to, if you want to plant a flower in your backyard, right? You can put that seed in the soil and you can water it that day, but you're not going to wake up the next morning and look outside and see a full bloom flower. It's not how it works. It's growing, it's doing its thing, but it's moving so slow that you're not going to see it by watching it every minute and every hour of the day. It's doing its thing. Just keep watering it. Leave it alone, because with the beach scene here, Spirit's saying you need to take a step back. Okay, why don't you plan yourself a little getaway? Maybe go to the beach for the weekend, or take a week vacation at the beach. Don't think about work. Don't think about money. Don't think about the money that you've put into an endeavor, or your 401k, all the money you're putting in your 401k. Don't look at it. Don't think about it. Because, the Knight of Pentacles came out with the star for the interlude, okay? So while you think that there's a pause on the growth of your finances, it's not. It's a timing factor, a lot like waiting for a flower to grow, or, waiting for, if you planted, a garden, waiting for your green beans or your tomatoes. It's a timing factor, right? It needs time to do what it needs to do in the soil, right? The seed needs to, open up. It needs to allow the soil to come in. It needs to be watered. And, it's no different than, a female being pregnant, right? You're not going to get pregnant and then the next day you're going to be in labor. That's just not how it works. And so with the Knight of Pentacles, Spirit saying, have hope, all right? Have faith. Things are going to rejuvenate for you. The Knight of Pentacles is a slow-moving energy, but it's a solid moving energy. So it's a lot like, for your finances, it's the compound effect, right? So you put in $5 into a bank account, every week. It's going to look like it's growing really slow until you get to $100, right? Then it's going to start to look like it's actually growing and doing something because it's able to actually get up to a certain level. And that's what Spirit's telling you to do, is to relax, because you had the anxiety card come out again. So you need to be mindful of your health. Your emotions are going up and down, just like, 401ks can. You know, one day the stocks are up, the next day they're down. One day they're up, then they're down. And that's just the cycle with the Wheel of Fortune. That is the cycle of, you know, finances sometimes. It is ups and downs. It does happen. But when I clarified the Wheel of Fortune for you, you ended up with the Four of Wands. So this is really good. Okay, so the Four of Wands is, it's a stable structure. Okay, think of, you know, a house. A house has four sides, right? Four of Wands. It's a solid structure. What you're doing is good, okay? But right now, you need to take a step back because you are literally, with the negative thinking, with the Eight of Swords, you are stressing yourself out, waiting for your, you know, financial opportunity with the Page of Pentacles. You know, it's like you're waiting for that message to come in that, hey, guess what? You know, your finances are now at, you know, $5,000 or whatever it may be for you. You know, you're waiting for that solid call, and it's a lot like a watched phone. A watched phone doesn't ring. You have to step away from it. You know, even if I'm talking to somebody who is a journalist or somebody who is writing a book, if you're having a creative block, you can't sit there and stress yourself out and keep at it until it gets worse, because all you're going to find yourself doing is pulling paper out of that typewriter and balling it up and throwing it away and creating more stress for yourself. You got to step away from it. Take a break. You're frustrated, okay? You're feeling boxed in, closed in. You're frustrated at the moment. You're creating more anxiety for yourself. It's at that point, it's making you emotional with the waves, okay? It's now taking havoc on your health. And that's why you had the beach scene come out on the physical well-being. Okay, so this apple, while it's waiting for that hidden knowledge of how much am I going to get, how much are my finances going to grow, it's kind of acting as the forbidden fruit, because you're honing in too much on waiting for what's hidden, a lot like the seed in the soil, right? It's hidden down in the soil. So you can't see what's happening underneath that soil. And that's why Spirit's saying, please step away from the soil. Step away from the soil, my friend, okay? It's doing its thing. Just as long as you keep watering it, as long as you keep putting, you know, your whatever amount you're putting into your 401k, whatever that is for you, just make sure you're still steadily doing what you need to do, and let the seed or your finances do what it needs to do where you can't see it, okay? Book yourself a little vacation and step away from the soil and step onto the sand, okay? Get your feet on the sand, don't check anything, and step away, okay? So I hope this gives somebody some reassurance, and hopefully I'm talking to somebody who after this will start looking at booking maybe a little vacation to get away, to relax, because otherwise this could take havoc on your health, and you don't want that. We have to sometimes take a break. So let's see what Moonology card comes out for you. All right, what Moonology card do we have for Scorpio here, please? Oops. And I totally get the Scorpio, you know, negative traits of being very obsessive, especially if your mind is on something. We will hone in on that till the death of us. And it's a negative trait of ours, you know. I get it. I do it to a lot of things too. But I am trying to get much better about stepping away and giving yourself that little mental break, because that's what you need. All right. All right, I didn't like that cut, so I'm hearing another shuffle. Okay. There we go. That's better. You're very close to achieving your goal. Gibbous moon. So if you have a financial goal in mind, you're very close to it. And I think that, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. Oh my goodness. I think that you're so close, you can almost see it, you can almost taste it. And so that's why Spirit's like, please, all you're doing is stressing yourself out. And then you're going to give yourself health problems. And then that money you made, you're going to have to go to the doctor to get yourself feeling better, because you've been keeping yourself tied up in your own head, stressing out over something you don't need to stress about, okay? You got the Knight of Pentacles. It's, you know, slow, steady wins the race. You got this. You know, like I said, the Four of Wands, steady foundation. Do not over stress it, okay? You're very close to achieving your goal. So now, please, book yourself a nice little getaway and forget about work, forget about money, and go soak up the sun and enjoy yourself. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Sacred Soul. Yeah, okay. Let's see what's in here. Life is a balance of holding on and letting go. Stay steady. Go with the flow. You know? It's about balance. Okay? So while I'm talking to somebody who's very career oriented, who very much somebody who's focused on their finances, I get it. You have a goal in mind, and that's great. You know, you should. I think that's fantastic. But you also have to step back, okay, from the financials, from the career, and relax, because you do most of your work when, you know, your manifestations and everything, when you're resting, okay? Manifestations can get a little stressed out if you're trying to manifest while you're still constantly working and tired and anxiety. That's when your manifestations can kind of get a little wonky on you, and that's because you're tired. You're in a lower vibration at that point. So get out, go have some fun. That's all you need to do. Let your finances do the work. They're in the soil right now. It's going to be, you know, a month or two before you start to see a little sprout. So walk away from it, all right? And then come back and you're going to see that sprout. I hope this was helpful to somebody. Much love and light. I'll talk to you soon.